People fentanyl is taking them down! Welcome to Skid Row.
This is Skid Row, the largest homeless camp in America.
People will flat out take your camera, pull a gun on you, rob you.
It's not safe, folks!
Housing over 10,000 homeless people, this place is plagued by violence, crime, and rampant drug addiction. You smoking crack right now? Is that what that is?
This is meth.
What do you use?
Okay, I'm quick to defend fentanyl. Because of fentanyl, I no longer inject heroin.
I think fentanyl is the deadliest, worst thing I've ever seen in my life. There's signs everywhere, Narcan here.
I wondered if the free food, water, and Narcan ironically attracted people to come here. Do they even want to leave?
To me, it seems like a man-made trap.
You want to fight, get off the streets, you don't get off the street.
How do you get out of here?
If I had that remedy, I won't be here.
I want to get off the street. Where do I even sign up?
Meth and crack was making these people so violent. Is there violence out here?
Wait, quit playing. Give 5 minutes. Finish the telling.
And 3 minutes later, we experienced it firsthand.
This is my friend Tyler. He was wanting to...
How you doing?
No.
All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Rakak, Kodash, the bonds, apostles of GMS, and the sincere Shalom to the brothers out here pushing this truth and sincerity. And as you saw it firsthand, this is, mind you, this has been, I would say this past year has been a uprise about this whole fentanyl thing. Didn't understand it, but I was like, I'm not surprised because using drugs in this society has been going up every year. But for this to be the main talk of it, like it's no other drug out here. And to see this, I'm like, okay, so now they start talking about this in the block, but I'm hearing this is going on damn near all over the US for the most part. And while you're seeing all these things coming up, going on, especially with the upcoming war, World War III, you starting seeing this place getting more weaker and weaker. And I wouldn't be surprised if they start drafting these people for war, give them some fentanyl, make them go crazy, have some fun out in the war, I guess. Because that's Esau's whole plan, is to depopulate all of us, right? So I'm gonna go ahead straight to the scripture first. This is Isaiah 42:22. It says, "But this is a people robbed and spoiled." And as you can see, we've been definitely robbed. We not only been robbed of our identity, but we've been spoiled. We've also been robbed of our minds at this point. And we've been spoiled with philosophy, but we've been spoiled with all the technology, all this other stuff, including drugs. That's a spoil. And it's not a good one. Well, I don't think any type of spoil is good for that matter. Actually, let's get that word real quick. Just to show you how bad it's gotten. So this is the definition of spoiled. It says to damage seriously, ruin. And you just see it with all this. This is that's a whole ruin right there. We've been ruined. Not even without drugs, we're technically ruined. In the mind, because you see how our people act, right? So it says to impair the quality or effect of. I don't even need to go any further, because that first one alone was enough to explain all that. So Esau would use any type of chemical or any type of drug, food, or anything to keep our people in trance. Look at our people when it comes to our food. Any store that runs out of chicken, our people going nuts. Any store that don't have anything that our people like, going nuts. That's why in malls you see majority of women, because us as a people are mass consumers. And you get us hooked on one thing, especially some of these drugs, we ain't getting out of it. That again is why the Lord needs to come back and will come back to destroy this place and reboot the earth. But let's go into this fentanyl, because there's a specific point I wanted to get into this. It says fentanyl is a narcotic, right? It says high risk for addiction, dependence, for addiction and dependence, can cause respiratory distress and death while taken in high doses, or when combined with other substances, especially alcohol, or other illicit drugs such as heroin or cocaine, right? It says, let's go here. It says fentanyl is made in Mexico and Japan. Mexico and China. It says are the primary sources of the countries for fentanyl and fentanyl-related substances trafficked directly into the United States. So, and you know, when it comes to anything being import-export, it's America automatically have the business to do with it, just like with guns. So for this to be on the streets, you know who put it out there. It was no one other than Esau, right? Let's keep going. And it says fentanyl is a synthetic opioid that is 50 to 100 times more potent than heroin or morphine. So it just gets worse and worse. Here's the part I want to get to, right? It says fentanyl is a potent synthetic opioid drug approved by the Food and Drug Administration. So if it was trafficked over here, that means it was approved to be in here, which means any type of way to keep our people dumbed down and drug abused or mentally screwed just from even philosophies, Esau will use it to his advantage, and like he always does, right? So he'll make certain drugs legal, then he'll make some of them not, but then over time he'll try to, because originally back 10 years ago weed was not even legal, but guess what? It's legal now. And guess what? Our people will make any which way excuse to defend it. Just like you saw that, I think he was an Ishikari, I think. He said he's quick to defend fentanyl because he's not shooting up heroin. You know, they got a saying that says you could choose, what is it? The lesser of the two evils. Well, if they both evil, if one's less evil than the other, doesn't it still mean it's still evil? But that's our people. They'll defend anyway, and that makes it seem like it's less evil for them, right? So this is Psalms. Actually, I want to start with. Actually, yeah, I'll start with Psalms 55 and 21. It says, "The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart." So he'll give all these pretty speeches, making our people believe anything. Pass a bill saying that weed is not legal, but guess what? A lot of people don't understand what that stuff does to the body, especially over time as you get older. But people say, "Oh, I'm fine, this, and that. Nothing ever happened to me." Well, geez, it's the same thing as people say that you could live off of pork. You can, but you'll still have problems over time. But people will ignore that. And when you do the research, weed does a lot of things to the body that people don't understand. Even at early times, people will say, "Oh, it makes me smarter," or "I had to do," or "I can get off with a woman and doing this." But what happens when you're off of that? Can you do those same things? See, it neutralizes the inner parts that you need to even function right, to where people actually need to rely on it now. People say, "Oh, I need weed to release stress." Well, there's plenty of other things you could do to relieve stress. You could work out, you could walk. There's other things that you do besides using drugs or using alcohol for stress relief. See, but this is the mentality of people that says, "Oh, I need this for this, and that." Not the case. That's the mentality Esau pushing our people to make us seem like we need these things because we're going through hell. But there's other ways to go about it, right? So this is actually, hold up, that was another one. I'm going to get into Psalms. I'm going to start with Psalms 10, verse 2. Yep, 10. This is Psalms 10, verse 2. It says, "The wicked in his pride doth persecute the poor." And I'm going to stop there because you got Esau that'll persecute us with all sorts of different angles. And then be able to manage to get our people to pursue us because we don't agree with what Esau's pushing. Right? Let's keep going. It says, "Let them be taken into devices that they have imagined." And this right here.
Housing over 10,000 homeless people.
Sorry. Meant to turn it down when I hit that. But this all right here, this is a device, which is an image that they have been taken in. A design. So like the device is that design. This is a design that they have been taken in. So they wanted to defend fentanyl, drugs, weed, and all this other stuff. There's always a downside with it. Just like with Esau. His designs is going to crumble and backfire on him, especially when those missiles hit. So nothing wicked ever stays long. The only reason this is going about as it is now is because these are prophecies. These are meant to happen so this place can fall. Especially since we're serving out our servitude. So I'm going to get this last scripture right here. And it says, this is Micah 2:1. It says, "Woe to them that devise iniquity." And that woe means destruction. It says, "Destruction to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand." And that's talking about those rat elites, because they practice all this stuff. They plan all these things. Every little thing Esau does, every little thing these rats do, is a tally against their own destruction. Because the more they harm us, the more damage they're going to do to themselves when that time comes. Because in the long run, Esau is going to pay for all of this stuff that you see going on. All our people dying left and right, drug abuse, hell, family's not even right. The list goes on and on. Esau is going to pay for every single little thing he's done. So that's pretty much all I wanted to go into with that. Just wanted to show the fact that Esau does plan a lot of these things, and no matter what people think they can do to change it, it's not going to happen. But it's more so to be also aware of the things that's out here. So for anybody that questions, that if you have to question whether this thing is good or not, it's probably a good idea not to do it. If it feels off to you, don't do it. If you don't know if it's a drug or not, and you feel like you have to question it, don't do it. As it's one of those things that people will say, listen to your gut, because your gut will tell you this ain't it. Because that gut is connected to your brain, to your mind, even to the spiritual side of you. That's why they function well together, because they correlate together. That's why that saying is pretty much gone about. It's like, hey, I have a sinking feeling in my gut that this ain't right. It's a good idea not to be persuaded into it. To pretty much stay away from stuff like this, because if you don't know it, if you never heard of it, it's best not to even try it. But yeah, that's pretty much all going into that. So Lord willing, this is edifying. With that, shalom.